How you guys doing today? Today, I want to give you some very, very important things to do on showing you how to write a dispute letter. So during the intro, when this video cuts off and the intro comes in, I recommend you grabbing a pen and a paper, taking notes, and listening to the very end. So stay tuned. My name is Jay, and welcome to Ask a Debt Collector, a subsidiary of Clear and Strategic. Now, I've been in the debt collection industry for over 15 years. I've done it all, from management to owning 2 debt collection companies. Over the last 10 years, I've been the go-to guy for friends and family for questions regarding debt and credit. Now I want to be that person for you. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment section. I promise I'll answer those questions. Let's go. So, writing a dispute letter to the credit bureaus, there are a few things that have to be done and sent with the actual dispute letter in general. So I'm going to give you, what should be on the letterhead, what you should actually include with your dispute letter, and the methods that you should actually use to send those dispute letters to the credit bureaus. And I'm talking about just directly to the credit bureaus, dispute letters sent to Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. So a lot of times when sending dispute letters, obviously out, you can fax them. There's a way you can fax them. There's a way you can actually dispute online, and then you can actually mail the letters in the mail. But in order to send a dispute letter properly, one of the first things you're going to want to do is pull a copy of your credit report. Now, in this case, going through Credit Karma for free, or a lot of those free services that you get through, like your credit card, American Express, they give you a free FICO score, and a lot of your banks out there, it's not going to work. You're going to need to go through a company. I use Smart Credit, but you can use Identity IQ. You can even use myfreecreditreport.com. They have something where you can pay monthly, but typically you're going to have to pay for a credit monitoring service on a monthly basis because you want to get all 3 credit bureaus all in one credit report. The second thing you're going to want to do, I would suggest you doing, and it's out there a lot, and I know a lot of times the credit bureaus, they're sort of kind of up on this part of the game, is making sure you have one address, one phone number, one social security number, one full, your name is spelled the way that you want it, that's on your documentation and so forth. So this is very important with regards to just getting everything together and getting it going with regards to that. Then, obviously, one of the things that I stated is across the board on the 3 credit bureaus, you want to have all 3 together, right? And then you want to look for inaccurate information on those 3 credit bureaus, right? So you have them all together. You have Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. For instance, let's say the date the date the account was opened. If it's showing different on all 3 credit reports, that is an inaccuracy on your credit profile, and you can actually get that removed off of your credit report. Number 4, the key thing is understanding and being very specific on your letters with your dispute. So if you're disputing an account, and let's say it's an account that was inaccurate, or it was an account that you didn't even have on your credit profile, you actually, one of the things you need to do is have the name of the account. So in one case, let's say it's Capital One. I always use Capital One as an example. You pick Capital One. Then you want to have the account number. Make sure that the account number is the same as what it is on your credit profile. So I know a lot of times the account numbers, they'll only give you 2 numbers, sometimes 4 numbers, sometimes a full number. Whatever it says on the credit monitoring that you choose to do, whatever that account number is, that's what you want to put in there. So you want to put the original creditor and the account number. Then you want to put your reason for the dispute down at the bottom. Very lame way, and in order to do it, you don't have to have all the sophisticated codes and all of that type of stuff. But let's say, for instance, in Capital One, you can say, hey, I am disputing this account due to inaccuracy. On TransUnion, it shows the open date this. Experian shows the open date this. Equifax shows the open date this. what you want is to find the inaccuracy on all three of those credit bureaus and to dispute that inaccuracy. And then you will put down, please delete this inaccurate information off of my credit profile, and you can get that deleted. Now I want to talk about what to include with your actual dispute. So now on the letterhead, and I'm going to put down in the description a template for this. But in the letterhead, you want to have your first, your last name. You want to have your current address. You want to have the last four of your social or your full social security number. Underneath that, you want to have the credit bureau that you're sending the letter to. So it's very important to have Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. You want to actually have their actual addresses. If you need help with getting those addresses, you can Google it and find it. Otherwise, I could put it down in the description. I'll put it down in the description. And then from there, you want to have the date underneath that. After the date, you want to have what it is that you're disputing and what's happening. So I'll have that information down below. Now, very key with every dispute letter you send to each credit bureau that you have a few other items with regards to that. So if you are doing the factual dispute method, it's very, very key. Number one, that you have a copy of that credit report with the inaccurate account and highlight it. Highlight capital one, highlight what it is, the open date is incorrect, and highlight the dates that are different. This makes it easier so when the credit bureaus actually get the documentation, they can look at what it is that you're verifying it through, and if the information is in fact inaccurate, they can contact the creditor, let them know, and then obviously if they don't respond within that allotted time, the account will be deleted. If you like the information I'm giving you with regards to this factual dispute, you're brand new to this YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, and as well as hit the like button so that this video can get out to more and more people. So the next thing that you want to have outside of the credit report on top of the dispute, so your dispute letter will be the first thing and what it is that you're doing. The second part that you'll have is the actual copy of the actual credit report, and what it is you're disputing, highlight it to make it easier each account that you're actually disputing. The next thing you're going to want to have is a government issued ID or a driver's license, right? Now this government issued ID or driver's license, if it has your current address on it, awesome. That counts as one verification or proof of address for yourself. The second thing that you're going to want to do is include an energy bill, a cell phone bill, a credit card bill, some type of statement that actually has your current address, right? You want to have two proofs of address on there. So hopefully your ID has your current address on it, and then you have something to back that up with a bill showing that it's came in the mail to your address at your specific spot. A third thing that I always say as a precautionary measure, especially if your ID address is not the same, is your social security number, right? You want to include your social security number, a copy of that, and you're sending this to each of the three credit bureaus, right? So a copy of your social security number, and then for those of you whose ID is different from your actual address, then try and find two proofs of what's name. So an energy bill and a cell phone bill, the social security number, as well as your ID showing that it's actually you sending out that dispute. One of the tactics that the credit bureaus do is they'll try and say, well, we don't know who you are. So if you send the letter off without this information, it's not going to work. And then briefly, I talked about how you mail it. Now, I'm not a big advocate about disputing online, right? Disputing online is very easy, but you lose a lot of rights once you dispute the account one time and it comes back verified as accurate through an affidavit of indebtedness. All they have to do is have your first, last name, and your address, and they can say it's verified. So it's very important that I wouldn't recommend you do disputes online. Faxing, I'm just going to be honest with you, I'm not really all that hip with regards to faxing. But there's ways you can do that, and I'm actually going to look into that. I may look into that with regards to that, but that's a way that you can obviously do it. You can Google it and do it. And then mail. Now, there's two ways that you can mail these letters out. You can mail it regular mail, put a stamp on it, and send it out. I don't recommend necessarily sending it that way because the credit bureaus are getting so many disputes on a monthly basis, and a lot of times your dispute can get lost in the mail, get lost up in the minutia of everything that's happening, and you may not get a response from them. And so by sending a certified letter, this is not an overnight or 3-day express, just certified. It typically takes 3 to 5 business days to get to where you want to get. They'll give you a 16-digit tracking number. And with that 16-digit tracking number, save that and keep that on record so that way you can actually tell, because the clock starts, the credit bureau has 30 days to respond from your letter, and that typically goes from the date that they actually got it. And how you're going to prove that they actually got the account without an actual certified letter. So with that certified letter, you can actually show that the credit bureau's got it on whatever specified day, and then you can count 30 days from that date. If you don't get a response after that on the 31st day, then you can send some correspondence showing, well, how you actually sent it. So I'm a big advocate on sending out the letter certified mail so that way you can keep a trail. And then if later you end up having to file suit or make a complaint, you have the documentation to actually send to a company like the CFPB showing, hey, I sent these letters out and they did not respond, they did not update, or they did not satisfy what it is by law that they have to do concerning your letters. Down below, I will put down an actual template with regards to an actual dispute letter. And this one's going to be just like a generic one with regards to the stuff, but it's very important that you have your address, you have the credit bureau's address that you're actually going to send the letter to, you have, your social security number with it, and you have all the documents that are needed with regards to verifying who you are. 2 proofs of ID to show that it's actually you. As a cautionary thing, I always recommend you send a social security number as well. And then if your ID address is different, then you're going to want to send 2 other proofs. And I gave some examples. Obviously an energy bill is one of the best ways to do it. If you don't have an energy bill, send some type of cell phone bill or, a bill that you had that came to that address in your name, so that way you can verify that that's your address and you're the actual person sending out these disputes. Now, if you have any questions about credit or debt, put them down in the comment section. I promise I'll answer those questions. And as I always state, you be